Hello, my friend.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Fairly short notice as well, to be fair. I only asked you like the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Sort of, did you?
I'm so happy to be here.
Well, you do so much interesting stuff.
Yeah,
No,
I guess
for you,
so.
you just kind of do it. But for me, it's super interesting. And I think everyone else, our friends, we all think you're really interesting.
Oh, I think everyone's really interesting.
Please introduce yourself to the people who might not know who you are.
My name is Carla Camilleri. I'm a 24-year-old woman currently living in Tamaki Makaurau, and I've just relocated from Wellington. I am a musician, singer, and what else do I do? I read and cook and play Minecraft and play music and sing a lot of music as well.
So for people who don't know, especially I think maybe like the second, third years who are listening, Carla and I met at uni officially, but I remember meeting you for the first time ever. I don't know if you remember because I was so small.
A big sing in Dunedin. I was thinking about this on the way here. I was drifting off into thought.
Because I was like, oh, what do I talk to Carla about? And I was like, oh, the usual like background, how you got into music and everything. And I was like, when was the first time I met Carla? I was like, uni. I was like, oh, no, it wasn't.
No, I remember you. And I remember, but I wasn't sure if it was you. Did you have more of a bowl cut back then? Okay, I remember in Dunedin, and it was that big sing, and we were outside the main, it was sort of in the foyer that we met, or I can't remember, but I remember
maybe
this
it's
one
different.
I remember this one
times.
moment. I was thinking about it on the way here. I was like, is that the first time I met Sid? And
That's not the time I'm thinking of.
what's the time you were thinking of?
It was Auckland Big Sing, or like it was like regionals or something, and it was in that like that little foyer place. Like you walk down the stairs and then we're all like sitting
in
down
the little
on the thing.
green room.
Yeah, that's it.
But
Yeah.
the fancy, yep.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I feel so long ago.
That would have been almost 10 years ago, maybe. Like,
Jesus. That's a crazy thing. I was wondering, I actually didn't have this written down, but you know what's crazy at the moment? Everyone in my cohort is feeling this. Like, now we're the older kids.
yeah.
That's a bizarre, because you don't feel like the older kids.
No way. I don't know anything. And when I was the younger, like, kid, I would look to the older kids and
Like,
be like,
wow, you know everything.
You know everything about life.
Nope.
Although I have been feeling slightly more, maybe more like an adult recently, and I've never felt that way before. I've felt like 12 years old for probably 10 years.
Well, explain that. Like, how do you feel? More, like, do you feel like more self-sufficient? Is that kind of what you mean, or?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I think it was spending some time away from home, and then also going through like all of the lockdowns and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely still rely on my family emotionally a lot, and I often feel like a child when I'm around them and sort of revert back to my teen self. And for the past month, I've been staying at my parents' house, which is really nice, and I was really grateful for that time. But recently, I don't know, just something has shifted, and I'm feeling a bit more. Actually, maybe it's the move back to Auckland. I feel a little bit firmer on my feet, so maybe that paired with the fact that I'm sort of a little bit maybe older, hopefully wiser. I am feeling a little bit more like an adult, which I haven't felt. I've always felt really like 12. I've felt 12 for ages. Or 16.
There are little
or
things
something.
that click, I think, hey? Like, and you just don't know when they're going to click, and then all of a sudden something's just like, I don't still want to.
Yeah.
Or I do want to do this, and it's just kind of like a process that sometimes happens. I don't know. For me, I don't know if it's like this for you. These like little life clicks that determine whether or not, like, what type of adult you're going to be, I guess. For me, that happened really suddenly. Like, all of a sudden I wake up one morning and it's like, actually, nah, I'm not I'm not feeling going to this party or like going out anymore, or I just don't really do that stuff anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm such a grandma. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of at the moment. I'm just all I want to do is stay home.
Yeah.
and cook. Not saying that I won't want to kind of do that stuff again. The last time I was at your house, I was a little tipsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've just like I literally wore a bonnet the other day.
Love that.
Like, I think maybe mentally I'm sort of
78.
78.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something quite nice about being in bed at 10:30 and then just going to sleep and then not worrying about like your work. Like you're going to be okay tomorrow in terms of functioning.
Waking up and feeling fine. Like waking up. I mean, waking up is hard in it sometimes in itself. But at the moment, I cannot imagine on top of that being hungover. Although if I do decide to go out and have a drink or something, it's really cheap for me because I'll have one sip and I'm like, woo!
Ooh, let's go, party time.
Yeah.
No, it's just super interesting, and all of a sudden, I think everyone at uni's, at least in my year, is just thinking like, oh, okay, now it's kind of we have to put on our big person shoes now because now the road that's laid out is kind of coming to an end. We have to make our own decisions. At least the big ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of easy making the little decisions.
Does that feel overwhelming for you?
To be honest, I just try not to think about it.
Just
like the easiest way to, because I'll be perfectly honest, I just have no idea what I'm going to do.
Fair enough.
I have an idea of what I like, where I'd like to go and stuff like that, but in terms of where my life's going, like nobody really has the play-by-play.
No way.
So I don't know, like there's a quote, if you can't see the end of the tunnel, as long as you can see the next step, like you're fine. You just have to keep taking that one step. So I don't know, like each kind of step I take, the more things I feel like I'm really curious at the moment.
That's good.
So I'm kind of reveling in that. I know that there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know. And I'm just like curious about it.
That's great. That's so good. Curiosity is, it's extremely valuable because I think that's like fuel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm naturally a person that wants to know stuff, but it's usually always been like ego fueled. Like I wanted to know it for the sake of like I now know this.
Yeah.
And I have this information over somebody else who doesn't know it. Like that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
But no, like a lot of things I've experienced a lot of things, like particularly with like, the jiu-jitsu thing. It's like that really humbles you.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, now the way that I look at a lot of things like with music or life and stuff, it's just like really changed. Like, once you get ass whooping, it really changes the way you view life. It's not that deep, but actually, like, I don't know, for me it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
That's
it's not
good.
that deep, but, just kind of living life.
It's easy to get really existential about it, though.
For sure.
So I'm glad that you're feeling just one foot in front of the other and like.
I mean, it's definitely not always going to be like that.
Yeah,
like
you can sometimes fall into the pit of existential doom. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, but you have to do it, I think.
Yeah, that's so true. You kind of have to enter the void to
find your way out.
Find your way out of the void. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Wow. What a great start of the pod.
Wow, we were real deep.
No, I'm curious. No, dude. It's good though. Like this is all. I was talking to Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to him at opera school this last time, and the way I view this kind of this little platform I got going on is like everyone's own truth is like different, but it's still the truth because it's their truth.
Yeah. That's great.
It's like quite nice to just hear everyone have a wee chat about whatever comes to their mind. And I might not agree with a lot of the stuff that they say, but at least I know where they're coming from. I can kind of view life from their lens a little bit.
Yeah.
And you don't really get that when you have kind of like like the regular interviews. You have like 30 seconds or, 20, 30 seconds to answer the big questions.
Yeah, and it's like a discussion is just so much more open too. Like, and I think you can learn a lot about someone through discussion.
Yeah.
And just the bounce between back and forth is really great.
Yeah.
Because an interview can feel kind of maybe quite staged, which I understand has to be to a certain extent, but a discussion is more of, you're just sort of a fly on the wall. I mean, I personally love listening to podcasts and discussions just because I love the way that they just move.
It just flows, right?
Yeah, it just flows, and it's just really nice to hear that. Yeah, I love it.
I was, I won't say what it was for, but I was in a very small interview and with a couple of our friends, and the person interviewing asked, "What is opera to you?" I was like, "How do you?"
That's how much time we got.
Like, whoa, absolutely reasonable question.
Yeah.
Not absolutely nothing wrong with the question, but actually to answer that and to understand somebody's real perspective on it takes a lot longer than 30 seconds. Because if she wanted the real answer at that moment when she asked me, it's like stress and debt.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's
sort of that's more of a like where the question should lead to rather than like what the question is.
Yeah.
It's like an essay. Can I cuss?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay.
good, you're good. It's like, let's get it all out.
That's all I got for now.
Yeah. Independent media, we're good.
Okay, sweet.
Nah, man, it's just so interesting doing this. And also, like we were saying just before we started recording, how positive the reception. I wasn't expecting as positive of a reception, honestly.
Really? What's that?
I wasn't expecting a negative reception. I just kind of thought that nobody would really care, and if they did, they'll be like, "Oh, so it's got a podcast."
No,
you know what I mean?
So nice.
And I have had people that have like done that.
Yeah.
But then they've actually listened to it, and then they've been like, "Actually, this is kind of cool."
Actually, what you're doing is really brave because, say, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I don't, but if I did, my biggest fear would probably be what other people would think about it at the beginning stages, because you sort of watch a lot of people on YouTube, for example, or who have podcasts, and some of them like their channels are already quite big. So you don't consider the beginning when they probably took that leap.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They had to just be like, oh, even if they're just posting a video about what they did in the day, they might have been thinking, well, who cares about that? So what you're doing is like,
You know what I think helps with that? And, I feel like this might, you might feel a similar way with your move to Wellington and doing a different type of music than you were doing in Auckland. Is that I'm like quite confident in terms of I know what I want with this. And like I've kind of come to terms with the fact that some people might not like it, and I guess it's a bridge that I'll cross if I start getting like the mean comments or yada yada yada. But I'm like kind of headstrong on what I want this to be and what I want this to become, and a lot of that is because I've had external influences that have been really positive and have talked to me about what they would like it to be as well. And so you kind of take these like things in, kind of formulate it for what it means to you, and because of that I think I'm as ready as I can be for if and when this thing kind of gets big. And it's only inevitably you're going to get the thing. So did you feel a similar way when you moved down, like you kind of knew what you wanted to do, and because of that you were kind of okay with whatever happened?
I don't think I knew what I wanted to do, but I knew what I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
So I was confident that time away, I think I knew. I mean, I didn't even know how long I was going to stay, and it ended up being 2 years, and that served the purpose. But I had no idea what would come out of it because I was pretty confused and pretty. I was pretty deep in the opera stuff, but I did have a very strong part of me that needed to explore other things before I took a dive into something that would potentially lead me, to different parts of the world or, So I just needed that time, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to just take a step back for myself, fully mentally and emotionally. And hopefully the music side of things, so writing music, which I was quite blocked off from during my uni years because I was so focused on opera. I mean, it takes up a lot of time, and I was totally happy to do that. It's a huge part of my life and I love it. But I didn't have any time to write my own music and explore that side of things. So hopefully hopefully by unlocking that kind of emotional stuff and just taking some time to breathe, I could hopefully unlock that side of my music as well, which is what has happened or is actually still unfolding. It's only the beginning, I hope. I'm still like pretty I'm in a strange place, but it's interesting how things have unfolded or are unfolding, and I'm feeling so much more comfortable and confident now to sort of continue to allow myself to just like guide myself in that way, I guess, because I do feel a few pulls. I still feel that, but I hope I didn't completely steer away from your question.
No, it's interesting. It's kind of what it's about. Like you kind of know, but it's really interesting that you say that. You're still in that. You still feel like it's unfolding, but it still feels strange. Like, I kind of feel. I can't understand what you mean in a different way. Do you feel like it's the same kind of strange? You've just grown to embrace it a little bit more and learn how to deal with it? Definitely.
I think that when I moved down to Wellington, I pretty much cut off all of my ties to opera because I didn't really know anybody down in Wellington I didn't have those connections down there. I found them somewhat. I did some work down there, which was really amazing and a beautiful experience. But I lost my teacher, lost my friends, I lost my coach, I lost the facilities, I lost the space, and I sort of underestimated how strange that would feel. But in doing that, I opened up a whole other world, which was good. And then I guess in coming back up here, those doors have reopened to a certain extent. So it's just sort of now kind of figuring out sort of what makes me happy, really.
Yeah.
And what makes me happy is music. So music of all kinds, whether it's opera, rock music, pop music, folk music, any music. I just love music. So as long as I'm doing it and performing music that I love and that makes me happy and participating in projects, which might be my own projects or other people's projects or shows or whatever the case may be, I'm fulfilled and I feel good. But so that's sort of the pull. But the strangeness is sort of still there and just kind of navigating that a bit, I guess. Yeah.
Whoa. It's just one of those ones where like nobody again, it's just one of those ones where there's no play by play. You just have to sort it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think like, if as long as you're determined to, and like you said, you just have a love for music and that's the thing that drives you at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I'm also really grateful for all of the music that I have learnt so far and continue to learn. So all the work that I did at uni to do with my voice, like I use that all the time, and songwriting and band, everything, just it all comes full circle for me because yeah. But I've also been having a lot of issues with my voice mentally, I think. There's been a lot of blocks, especially sort of during the last part of my time in Wellington. And that was probably quite a mental block as well, which is, it hasn't unlocked just yet, but there's sort of, I feel a bit more hopeful about it. It's just, yeah, that's a whole thing, I guess.
For there are a few like non-music people that listen to this as well, and it's such a weird one to tell people about. It's like, I've never been able to explain, like, when when you figure out that what's happening with your voice is mental.
Yeah.
And, you have all your technique and everything, and that's one aspect of it. But yeah, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed one day, and it's just like not working, or you just like, I've woken up one day and it's like, you go to a lesson or a coaching, it's like, as much as I love this and I appreciate everything that you're doing, I just really just don't want to be here today.
Yeah. It is it's totally a mental thing.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, I don't know, it's an emotional thing too. So, but I think that,
do you feel like your time in, how do I phrase this question? Like, do you feel like your time away from the classical stuff and coming back to it now, you're kind of like inching more and more back to it. Do you feel like the way you look at it has changed, and like the way that you sing in terms of like, the colors that you're finding in your voice, that's kind of developed and changed a bit?
Yes. It's been interesting. I remember I didn't sing any classical for ages, must have been months, because I moved to Wellington and I did have plans to continue voice lessons with a teacher, but a month into moving, or not even a month, maybe 3 weeks, we went into the lockdown. So everything sort of changed for me. So it turned into months of not singing any opera, going from 4 years of extremely intensive singing.
Excuse me. Go. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Sometimes it happens, What was this? Oh yeah.
Intense
singing. Yeah. I went from 4 years of really intense singing to nothing. And then I had this job come up, and I was like, well, shit, need to dust off the old chords there. So I remember I came up here and I talked to Te who was our teacher. And
is that the kiddie thing?
No,
different
this
thing.
was a job I had with Wellington Opera.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I had an audition, and I remember I was like, how am I going to do an audition for a role, and I haven't sung anything in like 6 months, and I didn't have a space to practice anything because COVID was hard, and then I looked into getting hiring a practice room, and it was like $80, and I was like, oh my god, I miss uni so much. So I came up to Auckland and I had a session with Te, and it was quite scary singing for the first time, but however it was also extremely interesting having that break, and in a way, like, a lot of tension had released, a lot of tension had come back.
Yeah.
Like when you don't work muscle out for a while and then you just need to work through it. But it was a scary but very interesting experience. Then I went back to Wellington and I just practiced. I would drive to a very distant beach, like far away, usually in a storm where I knew nobody would be out or something, and I would just go somewhere completely desolate and just blast Mozart in the car and just practice. And it was fucking shit because it's like when you say, I don't know if you've ever sung opera in a car, Sid, but it's not very. It's
the acoustic quality of the of the space is not ideal.
No, it doesn't go up. It doesn't go out.
It just
kind of lives there, but like, and then it just goes.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's like it makes you sing shit. Like you just sing
Doesn't help at all.
badly. Yeah, so I was kind of
tried your best to adapt to the situation.
I tried my best to adapt to the situation, and then I had to go to this audition, and I was so scared. Like I think I almost, like, I remember sitting inside. This is like genuinely one time in my life that I thought I was going to actually shit myself. I was nervous laugh. Apologies if this is too much information. But I was sitting in the car and I was so scared for this audition because I genuinely really wanted it to work out well because it was an opportunity to perform a role that I really wanted to perform or cover it or understudy it. So either one of those opportunities would have been great because it would be my first opportunity ever to learn a role, and it was Zealina, which I would have really loved to do, from Don Giovanni. So I was like, oh, I really love to do this. So I was sitting in the car outside Vic Uni and about to go into this audition, and I was like, oh my God, it came over me so quickly. It was maybe like 5 seconds, but in that moment I was like, I'm about to shit myself. That passed. It was fine. I went inside.
That's good.
Everyone walked in the room, and I'd forgotten the music as well. I forgot to bring my music. It was just a disaster before the audition. But then I was in this big room, and there was a piano and a pianist, not a AUX cable in my car, and there was space. And I sort of just opened my mouth and I sang this piece, and it just felt so good. I just felt so good. Like, it just came out so easily. And it was a piece that I'd sung so many times before, especially my first year. And
What'd you sing?
Vedrai Carino.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't the biggest fan of it just because I think those pieces that you sing in first year.
Yeah,
that
just like oversung every year.
Like, fuck yeah. So I think I had a lot of muscle memory associated with that song that just sort of, and then I sung it, and it felt great, and I felt so free, and I felt so good, and the warmth returned to my body, and I felt so happy, and I walked out, and I was like, I don't care what happens. I remember I called my mum after the audition, and I just wept, like I just cried for ages because I was so relieved.
Yeah.
Because all I wanted to do, I think what I was the most scared of wasn't really so much the outcome of the audition, but actually going in there and opening my mouth and just sounding really bad and just feeling. Do
you feel like it was one of those ones where, sorry to cut you off, but
No.
Do you feel like you were, like the way I'm hearing it kind of seemed like perhaps you were afraid that all of those like intense 4 years you had just put in, and they are crazy intense.
Yeah.
And then your like immediate shift to Wellington and not singing for ages. Did you feel maybe like a little bit scared, like, oh God, just have I lost it? Like all of this hard work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think I was scared that I would open my mouth and what would come out would be disappointing. And I know that sort of comes with a certain element of self-criticism that I know that I have, and I hold myself, I try to do things to a high standard, but I think I was scared that that would be the consequence of my decision. And a lot of things were out of my control, yes, but also I could have stayed in Auckland. I could have done this and that to continue singing. I could have practiced in my room every day. I could have blah, 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 and I didn't. But, but then actually all of that mahi that I did to go to the car and drive and all of that. I mean, regardless, like, it didn't matter. In that moment, all I cared about was that it just felt good. I was so relieved.
Yeah.
And then I think from that moment on, it definitely wasn't like I'm instantly like, I'm back, bitch. Like, definitely wasn't that. But when I eventually went, I was really lucky to cover the role. And so I learnt the role. And I wasn't getting lessons throughout. I had a few lessons here and there sort of when I'd come up to Auckland and I'd have a few coaching sessions, and that was really amazing. And that was challenging. But yeah, I think that time in between when I didn't sing sort of gave me a little bit of I wouldn't say a clean slate or anything, but it definitely sort of
It rebooted the system
a little
bit.
Yeah, I think it was a healthy choice at the end of the day. And yeah, I had a session with somebody recently who told me that my voice sounds great or healthy. And I was really nervous once again because I hadn't sung, and when this person was sort of telling me to apply different techniques, I could hone into them a little bit more kinesthetically. I think because now I have a little bit more mental space to actually think about it and do it. So yeah, but at the same time, in saying that, I'm very aware that it's not singing this art form and this style of singing is extremely difficult and requires so much hard work. So I don't want to sit here and say, I'm going to just cruise through life and do this and that and this and that. I definitely have a lot of work to do. I have a lot, my posture's terrible. My jaw's back, baby. Like, oh, I can feel there's so many technical things that, yes, I have lost. It's like if you did ballet for 18 years, stretched every day, if you were trying to do the splits or something and then you stopped doing the splits for 6 months, you're not going to be able to do the splits anymore. So there's definitely some things that, I totally, I need to get back on the horse kind of thing. But the refresher, the mental refresh, and in some ways vocal refresh has been good. Yeah.
The refresh thing is super important, I think.
Yeah.
And it works differently for each individual person. Someone like yourself just needed to get away and find another creative avenue, I guess, to just kind of, I don't know, like maybe re-love music. Is that kind of what you feel like? I've said this at uni a bunch of times, and I think I can say it out in public because it's nothing to do with the people at uni or the teachers or anything. Like it's not about that. But the way that the university is designed to make you stop loving music because it becomes so regimented, and you do things for the grade, and then it just becomes so overwhelming, and intense, and then there are a lot of positives that come out of it, and then also a lot of negatives, and those are the things that you kind of end up taking on. It's just human nature, I guess.
Yeah. So true.
And so in the same kind of sense, I'm just happy to be away from that now, and I just want to go in and have a sing, have a coaching, do the stuff that I care about.
Yeah.
Instead of you have to worry about the essay that's coming up in the next year. You've got to worry about your recital. And I've got the recital coming up, but I'm feeling a lot more autonomous about the way that I do it.
Great.
And I think
You've got more time.
Or I guess yourself, the little refresh that happens. You, even though you might still be in the same situation, I guess you're able to mentally deal with it a little bit better. Maybe, I don't know. It's different for everyone. But so what did you do in Wellington?
What did I do in Wellington? Well, when I got to Wellington, a then acquaintance of mine, Xanthi, hit me up pretty soon into getting there and asked me if I'd like to join this band that she was trying to make. And I was like, Yeah, totally. And she asked me to come on and sing and play keys. And so I think it was a week into me being there that I went down to this band practice. And there were a few people that I knew. It's a big band. There's 7 of us. And she was like, yeah, this is the band, yay. and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Hi, Ron.
And I remember she had sent me a couple of songs, and she was like, okay, try come up with something. Like, let's try and make the song. And I was like, oh, okay. And she also had given me this little Casio tone keyboard to play and to sort of hold on to for a few months. And I had no idea how to work it. But anyway, fast forward a few months, we had continued writing music sort of through the post-lockdown period. We were practicing every Sunday when we could, obviously. And we wrote an album and performed a bunch of songs and shows and heaps of shows, actually all in Wellington at the moment. We haven't played outside of Wellington, but that was a big thing that I did was I was lucky enough that the timing was right, that I was able to join this band, and it's been the most wonderful time because that was really cool. So that was one like main thing, and that's been really cool. And interestingly too, sorry, going on and on about that, but
awesome.
Interestingly too, that sort of happened right at the start of my trip there. Well, my experience, my excursion, and and then that's sort of when the album started to form, and then finished right before I moved. So, like, to me personally, anyway, that symbolizes the
culmination of your time there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's interesting. Wait for that one. It'll be out sometime this year.
Cool.
And and what else did I do? I learned how to make coffee. That's what you do when you go to Wellington. You learn how to make coffee.
Yeah, nice.
Made coffee. So I did barista.
You're an avid coffee drinker, or just the maker?
I was the maker. I lived quite a humble village life quite a while when I was there. I moved to a lovely suburb, Hataitai, and I worked at a cafe in Hataitai. So I lived and worked there, and I didn't really leave the village circumference for a while. I was just there for ages, and I was just making coffee, going home, chilling.
Oh, nice.
It was a really sweet, like, humble time. And then I changed my job and I started working at Flying Nun Records, which was really cool because that's sort of a little bit more in line with what I'd like to do other than playing music, is this, I guess, selling it. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and walking, and also just being thoroughly confused about life and the world.
Whenever I do need to hit the reset button, it always ends up happening when I go down to Wellington.
Oh, true.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a pretty high strung person, like, just naturally. And I don't know if I could live there forever.
Yeah.
I don't think I could make it home, just because it doesn't, or at least the time that I've spent there, doesn't really move as quickly as I would like.
Yeah. Totally.
But when you are there, like, I was just there last month.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of last month, beginning of this month. And it's just, like, so nice.
Yeah, it's nice to breathe.
Yeah, I didn't really know that many people down there because a lot of people had either moved away. Obviously, our friend Alex is down there as well, so I caught up with him for a little bit, but he's working, and, everyone's kind of going about their regular lives. And I was like, hey, you know what? I was only there for a few days, so just, like, one day I just got up in the morning, took myself out for coffee. It's like sat at the waterfront for a few hours and like panned my recital and just stuff like that. It's like that's super meditative. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I don't know. I could do it for about like a week and a half, 2 weeks max, and then I feel like I gotta move.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I was frequent visitor of Wellington because when I left high school, all of my friends, all of the people that I cared about the most moved to Wellington. All my best friends, my boyfriend at the time, like everything. And then, so I would always visit, and then living there was quite different, I guess. I've probably romanticized Wellington in a certain way, and it's a different reality being there, but it's a beautiful place. The environment is so stunning. It's just, there's mountains, there's oceans, there's so much greenery, like the flora down there is just, it's so rich and vibrant, and there's birds and there's like kaka everywhere, and like kaka the bird, because in some places, including my home country, kaka means shit. Kaka
Disclaimer.
the bird. The beautiful parrot. Right. Is it a parrot?
I was going to say something and I've forgotten. Oh, that's right.
Oh!
I remember. You know what else I find quite refreshing about Wellington is how young of a city it is. Because think about it, like a lot of the uni students that go down there, like the large percentage of them aren't from Wellington.
That's so true.
So the people that you see walking around, like, you know, usually young uni students, which is quite, like, it does change the vibe a bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's Auckland, everyone's kind of old and grumpy.
Everyone's like, I need to get to my business meeting.
Yeah.
What time is that?
Yeah.
Fuck, like, gonna stop off, get a coffee.
Everyone's either smoking or just grumpy.
Smoking or grumpy. Yeah, so true. Yeah, but that's the same in Wellington as well, I will say. But actually, in the places that happens is I didn't really see much of it because I was living the village life. So everyone was just chilling.
How far is where you lived from, like, the city centre?
20-minute walk, 7-minute
right.
drive.
Yeah.
So close. I mean, everything's like,
yeah.
it's considered out of the way because it's not, you know, Mount Cook or Mount Vic, but it's extremely close. It's just through the tunnel. It's like
Oh, right.
the little village right by the Mount Vic tunnel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so gorgeous. I do miss it a lot. Like, I do get sad about it, and I was extremely emotional leaving. But I'm emotional about everything. But I was very emotional when I left. Yeah, because I think it served a purpose for me, but that purpose was so meaningful. So I think I just felt really sentimental that maybe that chapter was over, and then I knew that moving back here would be good, but for me and the right step. But yeah, still.
Did you want to stay, or did you just be 100% sure inside that it was like, yeah, no, I think I need to move back?
I was so split for ages. Because a lot of my friends, I was really lucky to live with my best friends throughout the entire time that I was there. But everybody decided that they wanted to move back up here. And I was like, no, I've just got like my dream job. And I'm in a band that's, you know, we're doing pretty good. And that would be dumb if I moved. And I love it here. But I don't know, I started to feel a little bit split about it because I was just missing Auckland. I was feeling really homesick. This was also during the time that Auckland was in lockdown, so I didn't see my family for months. And also my friends up here. But yeah, I was just missing Auckland, and there was just something was pulling me back, and something was feeling like, oh, I maybe should come back up here. And then that became 50-50 split, then it was 60-40 split, and then 80-20, and then 90-10, and then 100.
Yeah.
And then I didn't say anything about it until it was 100, really. I mean, I spoke about it with my people close to me, and then I just sort of, I knew, and then that was kind of it, and then it felt good. Just like moving to Wellington, it was the exact same thing. I was so split about it, and then it just became 100%. I need to do this. And I also just get itchy feet. And I think that at the moment, just with everything, there's a lot of uncomfortable things about life right now, and just things that bring on a lot of discomfort, that I think it's completely okay not to be in my comfort zone. You know what I mean? Sorry. It's okay to be in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I sort of want to be surrounded by family, and I want to be surrounded by friends and the people that I feel the closest to. And I think that if I stayed in Wellington, I would have had a great time, but probably not. I would have been okay, but I don't think actually I would have had a great time because I would just have felt really lonely, and without my friends, and then also without all of the music stuff that comes with being up here, I would have felt lost. So it would have just surpassed that time. The time would have just, yeah. It makes sense in my head. I don't know if it's making sense out loud, but yeah, yeah. And it's also sounds a lot more dramatic than it actually is. Like, I just moved
I don't
city,
know,
but
like, yeah, but it's a we were kind of talking about this, but like, before we started recording, like there's a lot of outside influence in terms of what we do up here.
Yeah.
And you have to consider those aspects before you make a massive shift in terms of not only moving city, but also what you do in terms of the genre that you want to pursue. There's a whole bunch of other aspects associated with it. And also, like you said, like you seem like a really home-orientated person. That you love the nurture of your family, and to not have that is massive.
Yeah.
And then to come back to it is also massive.
Yeah.
And then how to manage that with being independent, both financially and emotionally, and then still needing, like, but when I say emotionally, like, you still need your family, but learning how to manage what you need from that. And then it's a whole, it's bigger than just kind of, I'm moving to Wellington and then back to Auckland now.
Yeah.
It's the same. I would say it's the same thing for your friends. Like, there's a common saying, like, blood's thicker than water, but mud's thicker than blood. So, you create little families like wherever you go.
Yeah. And I think right now with, coming out of this period with it, we had a lot of lockdowns and there's not a lot of social things happening. I think my social compass is completely off, but I think those close friends and the people around you that, that's become more important, at least to me. And I've spoken to other people, and sort of everyone's sort of feeling a little bit more, like they want to bring in those people and be close to those people, including their family. And then there's some people who just have itchy feet, like, and just kind of want to go and explore the world. And I can't wait to feel that feeling. I feel it to a certain extent, but I'm not in a rush yet.
I'm so ready to leave, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
You want to go overseas?
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's just kind of, I really don't know how to explain it though. Like, I love my life. I live a very, very privileged life. I'm really lucky. I've got like 2 amazing parents that love me very much. And they've like supported me through doing classical music, and that's not very common for my background, to be honest. So there's like a lot of things that I have to think about before I, like, make a massive shift over. And those conversations are like in the works. But there's a lot of me that just kind of wants to leave home for a bit. Like, at the moment, I'm just thinking I just want to move to Dunedin for like, not for months, but just like just go down.
just
go down, like live with my friends in Hamilton for a little bit. This is like that kind of thing. I just want to just move around a bit.
Yeah,
like you said, like itchy feet.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I think there's so many different levels of change that can occur in your life. Some are comfortable, some are uncomfortable. But if you're seeking some change that feels comfortable, go for it. Even if it's small. I remember when I was living at my parents for a while, and I just was like, well, I just need to leave. So I moved into like 20 minutes away, and it changed my life in a lot of ways, which sounds really intense, but it did change my life. And that was a comfortable change. An uncomfortable change was a lot of this, like, you know, COVID stuff.
Yeah. Oh God. Were you in Auckland for the big one that just happened, the big lockdown?
No, I wasn't.
Must have been that.
It was, it was like really horrible to see that, because I felt really sad for everyone here, but also I just wanted to come so badly, you know. I wanted to come and visit and just be here. It was just knowing that you're so close to your family. I mean, just an hour away, but you can't go. Sucks.
Yeah.
Was it okay for you?
This last one was probably the worst one, to be fair. I don't know, but there's a whole like a bunch of reasons for that. Like, this last one was sad because, like, music-wise, I had, like, you know, you just start getting, you know, these young professional opportunities, and for me, it means a lot because my mentality is like, I don't really know anyone. I'm just starting to like meet people now, kind of thing, and you know, like, any small opportunity for some people that get the same opportunity that are similar age as me, I feel like they think the opportunities are like, they're grateful for them. They're not ungrateful. I need to make that very, very clear. They're super grateful for any paid opportunity they get. But for me, it's huge. Like, it means a lot when people ask me to sing for the opera company or stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. But all that stuff got cancelled. So I was like, I'm so stoked that you've asked me, but then I don't actually get to do the work, and it's kind of what I'm here for, I guess.
It's heart shattering.
And so that, and then you keep getting asked to do stuff, and it's like, well, I'm excited, but am I excited now?
Am I allowed to get it? Am I allowed to get that excited? Am I allowed to get my hopes up about this?
Yeah, so that was one aspect that was hard, and then of course Zoom lessons. I'm just like, what am I doing here? Yeah,
that's so. I'm so sorry that you all had to do the Zoom. I mean, that's like a lot of. I mean, even for like the teachers, and there must have been a lot.
Oh yeah. I think that was like, it did help that everyone was kind of empathetic to everyone's situation in that way. But it would have just been like, of course, this absolutely wouldn't have happened, but if we could like end every week with, you know, like COVID, and then on like a Saturday night, COVID just didn't exist, and everyone just like caught up for drinks and just like catharted out all of the angst from this previous week, and then on Sunday COVID started again, and you have to restart the week. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been perfect. Yeah. But again, like, you can't cry over spilt milk. It's just one of the ones that everyone's had to deal with. Yeah. But there was one aspect, like, you know, I've been trying to like gym and jiu-jitsu and stuff, and like I talked about it last week as well. I just started to get comfortable, and, you know, I lost a bit of weight and started to get fit, and jiu-jitsu was like going well. I was like flowing with everything, and then it just like stopped. Yeah. And I was like, I needed this, and Mum was like, why don't you just, like, you know, go for a walk or go for a run? It's like, work out at home. It's like, I need to get away to do this stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, if I had to do Zoom lessons, I would have struggled, because I can't sing at home. I can't do it. Yeah. If I know that someone else is in the house, I'm not going to sing.
I sing everywhere.
I wish I had that. And that's sort of what I was saying before about having those kind of bit of mental block with my voice. It has led to some unfortunate things mentally with singing. Not feeling able to just sing out and sing, especially something like opera. I just feel I don't want to take up too much space or.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, and I had to do a So if I was in a Zoom situation where I had to every week have a Zoom lesson and I was in a flat, I would be like Googling like how to sing without being heard or something. Like find some kind of contraption where I could just sing but no one would actually hear me. I don't know. But it's funny. I was talking about this the other day. I had to perform some of my music, which I've never done before. It doesn't happen very often for me. But I had an opportunity to do it, and I was like, I'll do it. I'll take the opportunity. And I was so shy to practice at home out loud because I have to practice to fully with my full voice and playing. I was so nervous. I would not do it in my room because I knew that everyone was home because this was kind of during our lockdown / level 3 bit. So I would go to the toilet, which was kind of in a separate part of the house with 4 doors in between. would give me 4 doors in between me and the next person. And I would squeeze myself into this cubicle toilet, and that is where I'd practice my set. Because that's the only place that I felt the most confident, which is so annoying. It's annoying. It's not like cute or anything. It's annoying as fuck. Because like I am a singer. I want to be able to like feel confident singing and like, and then it's just like, yeah.
I think whenever you hear these similar kind of themed stories, like on like the like talk shows or whatever. It kind of seems like quirky artist does
like other girls.
Quirky
like
artist does quirky things for their art. But the anxiety of that would have been
it's just anxious. It's just anxious, and it's just actually annoying. Like
it's like I wish this was more efficient than it currently is.
It's frustrating. It's so frustrating because if I was anybody else and I heard my flatmate singing or doing anything, if I heard anybody doing anything, I would be like, woo! Yeah, and also give them the space to do it and probably tune it out after a while. So, that's what everybody does. But I get so internal. And then it starts to affect my singing. So if I go to practice a song or even write a song, like I go and I'm like, okay, here we go. It's just me, myself, and I in my room. And I get my guitar or whatever, and I'm like, and then I was like, what the fuck? Like I sing, like this is my favorite thing to do ever. And I just couldn't. It's such a block. It still is a block. Like I have to work through it. If anyone listening specializes in unblocking these things. But yeah.
It's like I'm trying my best to empathize, but I just can't. I've never had that.
I'm so jealous.
But to be fair though, like
no, it's
I
correct.
annoy everyone at home.
No, I mean,
because oh my god, I like practice, and if my door's not open, my mom's just like comes in and just like slams it.
That's so. I think that's great. I mean, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'm really in awe. It's not really jealousy at all. It's like I'm actually just in awe of how people can do that, because I never, even when I used to play piano at my house, when I practiced piano at my parents' house when I was growing up, if somebody came home or came into the room, I would stop. It's so silly. It doesn't make any sense, and unfortunately, it created towards the last few months anyway. It's created a little bit of a situation in my head that's confusing, and maybe it's because I've actually spent a lot of times playing keys and doing that thing, and maybe stepping back a little bit from the voice being the forefront of my music. However, then when I do sing, I feel great. But when I do have the opportunity to sing, I get so nervous. Until I'm on a stage, which is interesting. Until I'm on a stage or in an audition, I think I've just been wired to feel confident in those situations.
Like, this is the job now, so yeah.
Yeah, and something about sort of the character, you know, when you're performing a piece, you can enter a character that is not you, and you can sort of, yeah. But when it's you, it feels more vulnerable.
Do you you know, when you play a character, and I've had a couple of people say this to me already, like, do you feel like you can completely disassociate yourself when you become the character, or do you feel like that's what you would like, to just be like, I am this character now, I'm not Carla? Because if that is the case, the way I view it is, or like for like myself, it's just super different. I can't find another way to. I just struggle so much to disassociate myself from a character or the piece of music. There's always something about me that's in there. I don't know if that's like borderline narcissism.
No, I think it's important. I wouldn't want to be 100% a character.
Yeah, I
think it's important to keep an element of yourself, whatever you do, because it's not it's actually. I think, you know, you can dedicate yourself to a character, commit yourself, but it's still you, and there's still your spirit is there. And I don't want that to be lost. I don't want to be completely cut off. And if I was in a situation where I was performing my music to someone, I wouldn't want it to feel like there was a wall there and they couldn't connect with me, just because it's so in my head that I can't let that wall come down, you know, because I'm so in my head, and I'm like, I have all these voices happening that it's just becomes then all about me, which it's not. it's about the music at the end of the day. And I have so many friends who are just they're so fearless, and it's so beautiful to watch, you know, and whatever they do. But yeah, I think that's sort of a big goal for me. And I wonder if, just sort of going back to that like Zoom thing, I do wonder how, because I sort of narrowly dodged that. I kind of like, you know, uni ended, and then I was like, bye, I didn't I didn't have to do any of that Zoom stuff. I think I had one Zoom lesson with Te Oti, but if I had done that, I wonder if that might have changed, might have helped maybe. You know, I'm curious about that.
I don't know about that, bro.
I don't know, but you know, it would have kind of forced me to do lessons in my house with people there, and it would have forced people to listen to me. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I guess like it's just one of those ones you just never know.
Yeah, it's a mental thing. It's all mental.
But I mean, to be honest, like I have a similar thing with like working out at home. Like I can do it at the gym with everyone there, and it's like, you know, the gym's busy, and I'm totally fine there because I'm alone in a crowded room kind of thing. But at home, like even if, you know, I'm doing like crunches or whatever, and my sister walks in, I'll just stop. I say, I don't know what it is. If I'm singing, I just don't really care. I'll just do it. But for some reason,
so
like, it's bizarre, right?
That's so interesting, because that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's sort of, do you feel, this might be a personal question, but do you feel self-conscious?
Yeah, maybe. Like, yeah. Like, I've always had, like, pretty, like, I've always had like body image issues. I still do. And I think that's like, that might be like a driving factor of it. Like, I don't want to look tired, or if I work out and I'm just like absolutely smashed, I don't want to look like that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't
That
know
makes sense.
what it is like
It's like,
with with singing. I think like for me, even when I'm struggling with it, like at the end of the day, I think the people I don't know how to explain this. Like, I think people still know that I'm going to be okay, and I know inside that I'm going to be okay, so I don't really worry about it as much.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like the fitness thing, like I don't know. It's weird. This is weird to explain, but
No, it makes sense.
yeah,
I think it's the it is that voice, hey, that voice like in your head that is like, you look stupid or you sound stupid right now.
Yeah.
Someone's here now, they can see you. And it's difficult to shut, especially if you've had issues with that. And it's I totally understand like when it's like a body issue. And I guess in the same way, voice is a sort of a body issue too. It's because it's so personal.
Yeah.
It's so personal. It's on you. You can't like. It's not like I'm going to be like, well,
yeah, you can't change your violin.
can't change it. It's like it's on you. It's in you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's such a like deep topic, yeah. But I guess it is sort of that. It is sort of that. That confidence that it can't just happen overnight. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, yeah.
It is a journey. And I think that, before, like earlier tonight when I said that I'm still feeling quite confused in some ways, or about, even though I feel a bit more sure of myself and what I want to do, I'm still confused and I still feel that confusion. It just is that this confidence that I'm trying to build, it's not going to happen overnight. And this confidence that you're trying to build, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a muscle. You have to work the muscle. Like it's a carefully trained muscle too, because you don't want to pump it up so much that your head becomes this big, but you want to have it sort of to a point where you feel like how you feel with your voice.
Yeah.
Right. And I sort of feel a lot more confident with my opera voice, I think. Because when I'm singing opera or like musical theatre, like that kind of genre, I feel more confident. I wonder if that's because I guess I've had more training, I've had more time, I've always been taught how to do it, and been so lucky to have like the most beautiful, supportive, safe space to do that in with our teacher, wonderful Te Oti. I really miss him. Anyway,
he's just the best.
He just is the best. He just is. I think about him so much because I'm like, I'm so grateful. But with my, I guess my natural voice or my music, I only started that journey really like recently in the grand scheme of things. It's gonna take some time, and also as a woman in music, surrounded by a lot of really supportive men, but there's also the bit of a like, there is this thing that's like, oh, if you're a woman, like a successful woman in music, then you're like, or playing in a band or whatever the case may be, then you must have done something unnatural to get yourself there. Yeah, you didn't work. You didn't work to get yourself there. Like,
okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like, so
that's interesting.
Yeah, I've spoken about it to a few, people and women, and obviously this isn't all men. I think I consider myself very lucky, but there is something around that, I think. And I'm not going to blame it all on that, but possibly it is slight imposter syndrome that when I'm singing a song that I wrote, I'm like I didn't, this is shit. Like, why am I singing this right now? Or, I don't deserve to be singing this right now, or I don't deserve to have this opportunity. I don't deserve to be in this band. So I'm not confident with that yet, and that's a me problem. It's a me problem. I'm not about to blame this on other people, because it's literally nothing to do with anyone else. But I think I do have there is a little bit of like, I feel slightly inferior sometimes to men in music, because I feel like, that's like a whole yarn. That's a whole yarn.
That's a yarn.
That is a whole yarn. But
to be honest, I am curious about it. But like you said, that's another like 4 hours easily. I'm curious about it because I just will never understand. As much as somebody will explain it to me, like the in-depth empathy, I will just never get because I'm not a woman. You know what I mean? And I'm super, super grateful at the opportunities that I'm given, as is everyone, that I like my colleagues and the people that I'm around, like musicians especially. But I also know how lucky I am that I'm a tenor. Like, there's that. And, as I just don't, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and I know how hard it is for women, because for a certain extent you do, like, if you're the same age as a young man singing, like, you do have to work twice as hard, and it's simply like a numbers thing, I guess. But then I guess it's maybe not simply just the numbers thing. It's like there's a whole other aspect to it that I probably don't know. I'm talking about stuff that's completely out of my depth here, but
no, I mean, me too. It's because it's so complex. Like, I don't get it. Because I've never, I mean, not just women, all genders, but it's, for me, it's never been so black and white. I've never really given a shit about, like, whether I don't, it's just like, I'm here for the music, like, let's do it. But then, there are some things that do turn up that feel blatant and but they're so embedded in, like, just like so many years and, like, just history, it's like, it's just been built on this thing, and music very much so, because women were so oppressed. Like, no, you can't, you weren't allowed to write music, you weren't allowed to, I mean, we know this, with female composers, a lot of them, like Felix Mendelssohn's music was actually mostly written by his sister. Well, a lot of his music was written by his sister, but they weren't allowed to publish that. And that's just one example, and that dates back like fucking like 100 to 100 years ago. I don't know exact dates, but you know what I mean. Like, and then in like the non-classical music, it's the same thing. I mean, there are so many incredible musicians out there, but throughout the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, the bands, the musicians that were considered like hot shit and the genius of the time were men. And so then that translates to, which isn't true, because a lot of them were women or not men, and that sort of has led into this belief. I mean, it happens in sports and it happens in so many things. It's just like this, it's kind of ingrained in us that we're not going to be as good, or we have to work twice as hard, but we're not going to be as good. So
I think it's super hard in
got it. Nice.
I think it's super hard in music, and I always am afraid that I sound like a broken record on this thing, because I say it so often, but it is I think the hardest thing about this art form, any creative art form, and it's different in each kind of sphere, I guess. It's just too hard to bring objectivity to a subjective art form. Like, you can't tell an audience member what they like, because only they know what they like. You know what I mean? But it's hard because you want to celebrate the good people. And unfortunately, like, especially in like classical music, and some people have brought it up, and it's like I have my like opinions on it, but like for the most part, especially for like the younger generation of high school and stuff, like if you are like a young man and not as good as a young woman, the chances of you getting the opportunity are much higher. Yeah, it's just one of those. It's a shame because you want to support as much as you want to support the merit. I don't know.
Want to support everyone.
Yeah.
At least now, I think that there's a lot more space for those, and platforms such as this to discuss these things openly. And no, it's not. Something has to be done about it and talked about, and everybody should be celebrated. And I think now, because of those discussions, a lot more things are opening up, a lot more opportunities are opening up for everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of those sort of things are coming down, and yeah, it's really nice. It's nice to see the inclusion of people. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think we were kind of talking about either at the beginning of this or
somewhere
before we started recording, but I've just recently, very very recently, come to a point in my life where I just like know that I just don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And one person's going to be listening to this. I know. I'll say your name. You know what, Libby? Whatever. She said to me all the time because back in the days, and very recently back in the days, I was just like so headstrong on there's an objective right or wrong about like 90% of life, and actually like there's not. And if I keep thinking like that, I'm just going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And there's like, I don't know, just the way I think about a lot of this stuff now, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I can't think about it too much, or I'm just going to be sad.
What is right or wrong,
Yeah, like that's again, it's like I said, you're trying to bring objectivity into a subjective thing, and I just don't think about it. I'm just going to try and be nice to everyone that I can be nice to. But it's hard, like when you tell people that you don't necessarily have an opinion on it, or you're still working through an opinion, but it's not the opinion that they have. They want to attack you for it. It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like you seem like a great person. I'd like to get to know you one-on-one, but in terms of like my wider like political beliefs, I used to have really strong ones, and they've kind of dissipated because I just don't want to. I don't know. At the moment, I don't think my life's purpose is to change the geopolitical sphere of the world. I just like singing my songs and I like hanging out with my friends. That's kind of what this is, you know what I mean?
That's great. And there's so much happening. There's a lot to have an opinion on. And
yeah.
It can feel quite overwhelming, I think, too. Like,
do you watch the news or like read the news? Because I used to do it every day and I stopped.
I do a lot. I go through phases, and usually when there's like outbreaks or spikes. But I do check in, but no, at the moment, to be honest, no. I mean, I know there's so many terrible things happening in the world. There are so many terrible things happening in the world, and I'm conscious of them. However, if I read the news too much at the moment, I just get really overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I think, I don't know if it's like a hot take or whatever, but I feel inside, if I do not want to read the news about, for example, stuff that's happening in Ukraine, or like, I don't want to get too into that stuff, but like even COVID, and you just don't want to read it, for some reason I feel guilty. Like there's like another voice telling me like, you should feel miserable as well, and you should understand what's happening to these people and all this stuff. I'm just like, I can't, like, I'm sorry. But there are other things, and like I'm super grateful that I live in this country and all that stuff. Like I understand how lucky I am.
Yeah.
And I just that's why I just there are so many good little things that are happening, as terrible as kind of it seems like the big things are. When things are as I don't know.
But you know what that little voice is, right? That's empathy.
Yeah.
So you have empathy, and that's beautiful. And you should you should feel empathy, but I understand there's pressure to do something about it, like, or to post about it, or, you know, when there was that whole Black Lives Matter movement, you had to post the black tile on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, and if you weren't
You're
sharing,
a bigot.
and you weren't sharing the stories, and the thing is like, every day is Black Lives Matter. Every day is Women's Day. Every day is this day. We know that, and we feel that, and we feel the empathy, and that's important, and it's important. But the pressure is really intense.
I don't want to quantify or create currency out of my empathy. Do you know what I mean? I think that was, as I'm sure there was people meant the best by doing the Instagram stuff. I think they, for the most part, meant super well. But I don't know, like, I have, for example, women in my life that you know, family. I've got 2 sisters. I've got a mum. I'm surrounded by women at university. You know, I love these people and I want them to do well, and I'd like to show my empathy to them as well as other people, but in like a close knit circle. I don't necessarily need to put that out on Instagram because it's happening in my close circle. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird.
Instagram is scary because it's very easy for it to feel like your whole life in a strange kind of way, because which is why I'm constantly deleting it and then re-downloading it. And I have I'm in a terrible relationship with it, but because it feels like it's your whole life, then it's easy to just overthink so much about what you're posting, what you're not posting. And also to just feel that empathy, and to think about those people that are going through terrible shit every day, and to recognize your privilege, and to you know, reach out to them mentally. And if you choose to do something beyond that, that's great, and that's your choice, and nobody needs to know about it. And like, if you want to share it, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Like, it's such a deeply personal thing. It shouldn't be. It's like, it's like we don't have to toot our horns to like the whole world, but also, you're right. There's so much going on. If we felt the empathy, we have to set boundaries as well, because we're also, you know, life is intense. We got to deal with our stuff every day. So you know.
No, for sure. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I just I felt like I was getting to a place where I stopped appreciating the little great things that were happening in my life.
Yeah.
And that's a slippery slope.
That's so easy to do.
Oh yeah. Once you go down that hole, it's really hard to get yourself out of, and I think a lot of young people are getting sucked in, unfortunately. But there are so many, as terrible as some things are at the moment, you know, you do have to appreciate the small things that do happen. And I don't mean that to say like the people of Ukraine, like, you be grateful. That's not what I mean at all.
No, of course not.
That's not what I mean.
No,
for people that do, like, that's not, you know, what's happening is terrible. COVID, bad.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I appreciate the conversations I have with my family, like that kind of thing. I appreciate being able to see my friends every day, like.
Yeah.
And I think if you're more.
Whoa. Wonder.
I think the more empathy you have for the people that are struggling with that, then you appreciate that more, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally.
Cool.
I mean, if we were to feel bad for every person or thing happening right now, because obviously it's like not just Ukraine. So many places are in war, but anyway, we would be sad 24/7 because there's so many shit things happening. But there's also there's so many beautiful things happening, and it's okay to like focus on on those things because we're surviving too. We gotta survive. Gotta wake up in the morning. Gotta feel good about waking up in the morning. And I'm blessed to feel good waking up in the morning right now, and that's really nice and yeah.
Oh man, there's I don't know. I don't know. I've been and the lockdowns didn't help as well. But you know, just been quite sad for you know how, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but even when you're happy, there's just, it seems like the underlying thing is just kind of like melancholy or sadness. And I think I've been feeling that for like a really long time now. And it's just started to switch.
Yeah.
I've started to take a little bit more autonomy in terms of like what I want,
Yeah.
and not feeling guilty about it is like super important. To be fair though, like having friends that will support you doing that, so important.
So important.
But yeah, no.
I'm sorry that you felt that.
I think it's like I think it's like natural. I think a lot of people do feel it. And like I needed to go through. I think everyone needs to go through like that to get to like a better place. And like I said, like all credit goes to like family, friends, yada yada yada.
And you too.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't really think about it that much. But anymore, at least. I used to be constantly in my mind about like, oh, this thing might happen or this thing. Blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, like, I don't know, having a routine helps. It's like COVID obviously didn't help with that. But now I go to the gym every day.
So good. It's the little things, little things, little changes. Comfortable change.
Yeah, like a super jack guy at the gym called me big guy the other day, and I was like, yes.
Man. Fucking flex.
Yeah, oh, gee.
Look at my muscles, are non-existent.
Do you do any fitness stuff? We'll wrap this up soon, by the way.
I'm enjoying this.
Oh, are you? Okay, awesome.
Do I fitness? Do I fitness? I have a really interesting relationship with
let's
gyms.
Go.
So, okay. I danced for like 18 years, like 5 days a week was just like doing ballet. And,
really?
Oh. Yeah, ages. Okay, not 18, 14 years, but since I was 4 till I was about 18. And then I was like pretty fit, but I've never been very motivated with my fitness. Even when I dance, like I love dancing, but I was never... I remember like every time we'd go into the center of the floor to do jetés, which are like just jumping for like 5 minutes straight, up and down, I would just be thinking to myself like, this sucks. I can't wait for this to be over. So my motivation was never like quite there, and I still feel that way. But yeah, with the gyms, like I don't go to the gym. I'd like to. I kind of go through phases with the gym. Like sometimes like I'll decide I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go, and I feel really good about it. My most recent time was like maybe 2 years ago. I joined this family gym in Kingsland where I was living at the time, and it was like 1 minute walk from my house. Extremely close. So I joined it knowing that I would feel guilty if I didn't go because it's so close to my house. But I went the first time I went, I felt so good about it. It was like a family class-based gym, family-owned gym. And I was really excited about it. And the first class that I attended was 6 a.m. spin. I was like, yo, this feels good because I'm quite a morning person. I enjoy waking up in the morning. So the time wasn't a problem for me. And also the idea of spin class was also really exciting for me because I was like, I love biking. This is going to be great. I'd also like seen lots of videos of people doing spin class. I was like, it looks like fun. Like, cool. I rock up and it's like 6 a.m. I walk in. I'm like ready to go. Everyone's like in their posses, but it's like a lot of like middle-aged, like and above people, but like in cliques. And I was I was like, you know, like you can't sit with us vibes. You know, but like in their like 40s, and I was like, oh. And everyone obviously had their bike that they always sit on.
Oh, okay.
And there was one bike left, and it was right in the middle of this group of bikes. So I was like, I guess that's my bike. So I get on. I'm feeling good. Then this lady comes out. She's like, who's ready to go? Like, we're gonna go crazy, and yeah. And I was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. Start biking. Feels good. It's really fun. I'm like, woo. You know, I kind of go crazy. Like, I kind of like get really into it straight away, which I know is like not the best thing. But I'm like quite a motion sick person.
Yeah.
I'm quite a motion sick person, which I didn't consider at all when I joined this class. I just thought it was going to be easy breezy, beautiful. 40 minutes, all good. 10 minutes in, feel fine. She's like, I don't want to see those BPMs go below 120 or some shit. Like, she was like coming around.
120?
She was coming around like checking. She was like, I want to make sure everyone's up high kind of thing. So I was like feeling the pressure. 20 minutes goes by. I'm starting to feel a little funny in my tummy. A little bit like, oh, don't feel too good right now. But, and also like really like tired. Looking at the clock, there's like, I'm like halfway through. I'm like, shit. So, keep biking and I start feeling more and more nauseous. And she's just like, just pushing us so hard and I'm not enjoying it at all. I honestly felt like I was going to pass out. And at my peak nausea, I looked down on the bike and it was like, if you feel sick, stop immediately or you might die, or something like really dramatic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like what am I going to do? Because I have two options. Either like, well, three options. What? Die. Second option is vomit everywhere. Or leave. And I didn't know what was worse because I didn't want to like give up, you know, because everyone was going so hard and I was like, I'm going to be that one who comes to the class, the new girl who leaves, like dips early. But eventually, also because I was in the middle, everyone would see me leave. So I was like, what do I do? But then I decided to leave. But because I'd been pedaling for like half an hour, my legs just didn't work anymore. So I just instantly fall. I am like spinning out. I'm so nauseous. I go out. It's like 6:30 a.m. I go out and I'm instantly in a new class. Like there's another studio kind of right in the main gym part. And they're like doing strobe lights, like playing like drum and bass music. And there's these like big men going like, and like lifting weights. And I'm like fucking out. Like, oh my God, where's the bathroom? And I see the bathroom there. And I like start running and I'm like running to the bathroom like, yeah. And then I vomit like everywhere. And that's the last time I went to the gym.
Whoa.
So I currently don't go to the gym. That was an emotional roller coaster. Yeah. And then I bought a smoothie and a bliss ball from the cafe. And then I did not return to the gym.
Hey, you know what? That's actually a fair enough story. That'll give you some
It is fair enough. Although I am sort of like, again, I've like kind of the cycle has come full circle and I'm sort of at the point where I want to go to a gym again. Like I'd like to rejoin a gym.
Do you have like a goal or do you just want to go to the gym?
My goal is to just be able to like run through a meadow and not feel like I'm going to pass out. Do you know what I mean? I want to just be on a walk. And
but okay.
I love like walking and I do walk quite a lot, but my fitness is just terrible. So let's just go on a journey right now. If I was walking through like a mountain, you know, it's a beautiful day, birds chirping, I'm feeling good. And I see this beautiful meadow and like I'm with a friend, for example, and they're like, throw a frisbee. And they're like, go crazy, like go get the frisbee. And I like, just like, I feel so good in this meadow and I want to like run through the meadow and like do a cartwheel and run and like, you know, I want to be able to do that. But if I were to do that right now, I would not be able to do that. I would just like run 5 steps and then probably fall over and be like, you know?
Yeah.
I just want to feel good. I don't necessarily want to like
get super jacked.
No, I don't want to get super jacked. Like I do have some like, you know, I do have some like weight issues, I guess, but mostly I've kind of always had that, but mostly I just want to feel good. So I don't know if going to the gym will achieve that, but I'm kind of curious to give it another go.
Say, like, my thing on, I know I said like just before that I have like body image issues and stuff, and I still have them. I've just kind of, the best way I combat that, and I'm not saying this is the way that anyone should do it, by the way. I don't think it's particularly healthy, but I just don't really think about it anymore. I just kind of go to the gym and stuff. But do you know who Chris Bumstead is by any chance?
Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's 3-time Mr. Olympia champion. Like, he's just won the recent Mr. Olympia. He's like humongous. Like
The recent what, sorry?
Mr. Olympia. It's like a bodybuilding competition.
Oh, Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's like, his physique is yeah, like just insane physique.
That's
But
cool.
sometimes I was watching a YouTube video on like what he takes to the gym and stuff, and he was saying like, sometimes I just have to wear a hoodie when I work out because I feel skinny. Like I just don't feel, I just don't feel good, so I just have to put the hoodie on. It's like if the 3-time Mr. Olympia champion still has body image issues, like, one, that's good because I'm never going to become Mr. Olympia, and it's quite nice to know that somebody of that stature has a similar problem.
Yeah.
But like, I guess it's one of those ones where you just kind of deal with it the way you deal with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think
complicated.
the other thing is like, I'm a massive proponent, and I'm saying this because I used to be and sort of am still quite unfit. Like I do things to combat that, of course. But like, I don't know. I just feel a lot better now that I work out all the time. But to be fair though, like I've done it enough now where I find what is nice for me.
And I guess doing jujitsu as well is like something, right?
Oh, yeah, but that's a different, like, going to the gym is like one thing, and now I use it to supplement the jujitsu.
Right.
I'm not good at jiu-jitsu, I don't think. Like, objectively, I'm not naturally into that.
But it makes you feel good?
Oh, yeah. No.
Makes your brain feel good?
No.
Oh.
Sometimes I leave.
Yeah, you feel good at all?
No, it's not like, yeah, it's weird. Like, no, but in
good challenge?
like a weird, yeah, sort of. Like, sometimes I leave and I'm just like have a frown on my face. I was like, fuck everyone in this room. I don't want to ever come back again. I'm like in my car and I drive back home. There's no music playing in the car. I'm just like. And then other times, like I have a great role, and even though I've been like tapped a bunch of times and I didn't like, I feel good and it's fine. Then it's okay. But jiu-jitsu is a weird one because it's there's like a lot of, it's like flight or flight, flight or.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Yeah, it just automatically brings you to that. And so, like, I've panicked sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if I'm under the wrong type of pressure. The gym's not really like that for me because I can zone out.
Yeah, yeah. It's more like individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I need it. I need both of those things for different reasons.
That's so yeah.
I need jiu-jitsu to get out of my head completely, and I need the gym to supplement that.
That's so mean because I've been saying that. I would like to go to a gym if I think the class thing isn't for me. However, I have been thinking about either doing martial art or going back to dance in a very.
I was just gonna say, as much everyone, you know what? People who have listened to last week's one will know how much I love jiu-jitsu. As much as I've like said all the stuff about jiu-jitsu, if you're gonna start a martial art, I would recommend jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a crack.
Yeah, it's like.
I don't know a lot about jiu-jitsu.
It's fine. I didn't either.
I just love to do something physical that I have no idea about, really. And
I think maybe
yeah.
that's your, perhaps, I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe that might be the thing for you. Maybe you shouldn't go to a gym.
Maybe I shouldn't go to a gym. Yeah.
And to be honest, the community at the jiu-jitsu, like even when you're going to like the spin class and you've got the instructor and you're like kind of with a group, but the group's kind of cliquey and they're all middle-aged and all the middle-aged cliques and the lady's like yelling at you but not like with you.
Yeah.
It's like that's one thing. Like jiu-jitsu is so different, especially at like the gym I'm at. Everyone, no matter what the rank is, they will help you.
That's nice.
There are things that like white belts that are like lower, like don't have the, like I've got 2 straps on my belt, they don't have any straps on their belt, but they do things better than me and we kind of help each other. That's cool. And it kind of same goes up. Like there's a massive community. Like I won't lie to you, there are times where you will feel terrible, but when it does feel good, it's like one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah. I mean, I think that at the moment, that's one of the things that is missing from my life is a physical outlet, sorry. And I think joining a gym for me would be a bit of a cop out because I know how it'll go. I will go for a few weeks and then I'll stop going and then I'll start pausing it and keep pausing it and then just never go and then cancel.
Honestly, I did that as well. It was after I started jiu-jitsu because I went jiu-jitsu and then like for, however many months and then lockdown and then I went again and then lockdown again. And I was like, oh man, it's not viable for me. I'm like going to go get my ass kicked. And then once I start getting better, we're going to go into lockdown again. So I just kind of quit for a little bit. And then I just started going to the gym again. And I was like, oh, this is kind of lame. Like there's no community here. Like I just don't want to be like, I don't know. It felt really empty.
Yeah.
There was nothing really like emotionally satisfying about the gym anymore.
That makes sense.
And then I went back to jiu-jitsu like straight away. Maybe, I don't know. To be fair, like I probably wouldn't do like I've done like a couple kickboxing lessons and stuff. I fucking hated it. And plus with jiu-jitsu, like your chances of getting seriously hurt are very low. It's all like submission and stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd be keen to. I mean,
I'll send you some stuff. Honestly,
yeah,
please. And I'll send you some videos of like what it is and like instructions and stuff because I would recommend it to everyone and anyone. Plus, you get like self-defense and
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've been saying how much I've wanted to learn martial art for years, like ever since I was a kid. But I think for now, like the older I get, the more I sort of just want the mental and the physical to be a unanimous thing. And I feel like at a gym, I perhaps won't feel very mentally good because I think the culture around the gym, for me, I find it quite intense personally.
Yeah.
The environment, I can find it a bit intense and I can't see myself like always feeling great. And I think but perhaps doing something like, jiu-jitsu, whatever it might be, like working sort of through different belts and just learning different things and learning and it is a mental thing. I mean, that's like
there like a lot of creative people love jiu-jitsu because there are just so many different like outlets of like
it'd be such a good movement as well. And I think it would help me because I was saying before, like my posture is really terrible. I've been going to midi quite a lot, which is sort of traditional Māori healing and massage, I guess. And it's been really helpful because I have so much like mental tension that's just like manifested in my body and my posture is like shockingly bad and out of alignment. And it's been like that for years. Like sometimes I'd go and sing and someone would say, oh, do you know that your shoulder's like here? And I'm like, no, I feel fine. But anyway, doing something like that, like jiu-jitsu or I think would help because I don't know anything about it, but
no,
is it quite like do you have to be in a really exact position?
No, that's the best thing about it.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like yes and no because everything kind of flows into everything. Yeah, so posture is a huge thing. Like if you were in there's like one of the basic kind of things is like full guard, right? So you're like on the mat and somebody has their legs wrapped behind your hips. That means you're in their guard. And their goal is to break your posture and to pull you down. So that's your best way to fix your posture, to make sure you're up straight. And when you are that, then it's harder for them to break it. But if you're already down or slumped over and it's not strong, then it will break. So it's definitely it definitely keeps you going and like thinking in that way. And then there are also like, besides the physical aspect of it, there's like little gems like little gold nuggets that you get from the instructor that you can just take in your everyday life.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Even when he's just said it in the jiu-jitsu context, I'm saying, oh yeah, that works in a lot of other contexts as well.
That's so cool. Is there like
I think you would be great at jiu-jitsu actually, like the more that I think about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there like a dojo nearby? Is it at a dojo?
Yeah, it's just like you just go to it's like not really like, I don't know how it is at other gyms, but at the one that I go to, Balkans Beach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu MMA, 10 out of 10 would recommend, by the way. Bit of a drive. I don't know where you're based now, but it might be a bit of a drive. But
it is a bit of a drive.
100% would recommend, even just like coming like once a week or whatever, like twice a week. Because there's no kind of like bowing on the mat or like sensei this and all this stuff. Like, the culture's great. There are people of all ages that roll with people of all ages. There's this guy, Derek. Shout out Derek, man. He's like 60 something, I think.
That's cool.
And he loves every second of it. Like, he gets his ass kicked, loves it. Like, you know,
Aww.
and he's really strong. Like, I rolled with him like a couple times. He's a bit unwell at the moment, but rolled with him a couple times, and yeah, guys, it's like rolling with a gorilla a little bit.
Wait, with a gorilla?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like that strong.
Wow.
It's like there are a lot of females that do it as well.
That's cool.
I'd
I'd love to look into it. Yeah, I mean, you're inspiring me to follow this.
And the thing about it is, like, you have infinite lives. Because, like, if you do kickboxing or something, somebody punches you the wrong way. Like, I know Katie Houghton's done kickboxing, and she's loved it. But I don't know, like, for me, like, if I got punched in the wrong way or like kicked in the stomach, and it's like, it's not really, not really pleasurable, and then it would kind of affect my singing because there was just so much like instant trauma to like the instrument.
Yeah,
So I'm not really about that. This is kind of like
more gentle.
A little bit, like, it still hurts and stuff at some points, like, and if somebody puts like a decent amount of pressure on you, it's not pleasant, but you're never gonna get. I've never been seriously hurt.
That's cool.
And the more you do it, the more you know how to manage your body and what your body can and can't do, and like your style and stuff.
I'm pretty curious.
And it's great fitness as well.
I'm pretty curious.
Yeah, I'll send you stuff. If you do it, I would highly recommend. Okay, we've been going for like almost 2.5 hours, I think. It's been great. I know, right?
Had so much fun. Is that really long?
Sorry?
Is that really long?
I think the longest one we've had was Ben Kubiak.
Shout out, Ben.
Yeah, massive shout out.
Ben.
Yeah,
out,
I think he was 2 hours 30. I want to get Alice on as well. Just talk to her about Ben.
Oh,
I
so
love them.
sweet.
They're the best.
The best conversations, like, yeah.
Alice is just the best.
I think, yeah. We're so lucky, like, with our cohort. Yeah.
Just not even just in Auckland, like outside of Auckland as well.
Yeah. I have the fondest feelings about every, like.
Oh yeah, I do. Do you know Oh yeah, you're in youth choir. You know Rhiannon. Honestly, just the best person I think I've ever met. Ever, like her, Scott, just like the greatest people.
Rhiannon is so amazing. Rhiannon was like, it was so funny because when we joined youth choir, like the likes of Te Ohorere, Grace, and Rhiannon, like, and I, we just went. So it was so natural, and yeah, just like lifelong friends. Doesn't matter how much time's passed. I keep touching the
that's right. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm talking with my hands. Yeah. But shout out to Rhiannon.
Yeah, her and the massive shout outs to Scott too. I love you, bro. Those two have just been so supportive of this thing, and they're just like that. Some people are just cool, man. She's messaged me the other. I might be staying with them for. I will be staying with them when I go down for Dunedin comps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just think they're great. There are definitely some. I don't want to say problematic people, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You spend time with when you're in this business, like a lot of people that big personalities.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice to have people that are on the kind of same wavelength as you a lot of the time.
Yeah,
it makes it a lot more manageable.
Gonna meet a lot of big personalities, and also in New Zealand we're pretty lucky because I don't know, Aotearoa is very small.
Yeah,
and we're like blessed with like a cohort of you know, let's just say like mostly like incredible personalities. But I have heard from many people, including like teachers and stuff, like once you leave, like
Oh, I'm sure.
you're gonna be challenged.
But from like what I've heard overseas, like the little Kiwi cohorts can end up finding each other. No matter
Oh,
where you
yeah.
go, yeah.
It's-
There's something about our culture that's quite special. I'm actually really looking forward to it. When I finally make that move, I'll see my friends.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I have a Alex, another one of our really great friends, has messaged me.
Matangi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out.
Aw.
Whatever.
Whatever.
He said in a message I posted on my Instagram story, bro, I think a cool thing to finish your podcasts with would be some questions that you ask all your guests, like, I don't know, favorite food spot, 3 guests dead or alive for a dinner party, maybe best advice you received or given, pet peeves. I can come up with a list if you want. And I said, sure thing. And then he didn't come up with the list. So
So you're gonna go through that list.
So I'll just ask you one. And I think this is the most interesting one.
Okay.
What was the best piece of advice you've ever been given? And it doesn't have to be, give me one that is just general life and one about music.
One about general life.
Or perhaps they are interchangeable. It's up to you.
One about general life is easy. It was given to me by my mother. One step at a time, one day at a time. Sometimes 1 hour at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time. But don't go too far in the future if you're in a moment of stress. Also, one other one that my mum said in the same conversation. Never make a decision when you're in limbo.
Oh, bars.
Bars. Which is so true.
Whoa.
Best advice about music. Oh, there's so much. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to like break out into song just then. I have nothing to. I don't know.
There's too many.
There's just too many. So I was just gonna like break the silence by singing something in a country
I can't even.
Western accent.
I don't know. There's just so much stuff about singing that is helpful. I think one of the funniest things. I love Teori so much. It's just like one of the best things to ever happen to my life. I was singing in lesson once and I was like, oh, I'm just so bad at like this. Why can't I do it? He's like, Sid, you must understand. You're never bad. It's just not efficient.
Not efficient.
I was like,
This is not
that's
efficient.
good. It's like you're not bad. Don't say you're bad because you're not bad. But just not efficient. It's like this is stuck with me. I was like, okay, actually, that's really helpful. Like,
so true.
instead of just kind of like when it's not working, like, oh, shit. Like, maybe it's just not kind of like as good as I can make it. Or like, I'm not going about this the smartest way. Maybe, I don't know. That's how I took it. One of the best pieces of advice I've been given.
That's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I have a lot of choice between advice, like if I'm trying to like search through, but my mind is blocked, and I actually just I can't think of anything. Sorry.
No, it's all good, bro. You were spitting bars earlier about what did she say? Don't make a decision in limbo.
Don't make a decision when you're in limbo.
Insane.
Yeah, that's so epic, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mum's got good advice, and yeah.
Cool. Hey, before we finish this, I need to, because last last episode was the 10th episode. I know it's only small, but for me, massive deal.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. I need to give a huge bunch of shout outs to my family, who have been nothing but supportive of this endeavor. And I know I have like 50 million ideas that come into my head at once, and then whatever one sticks, I kind of tend to go with it. And this is one that stuck. And they, from day one, have said, if you have an idea and you want to invest in it, then it's meant to be. And so thank you to everyone. And, whenever I do have a guest on, they kind of like huddle up and they're super respectful of that. And I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm super grateful. And also, Tioti, Chris, Sam, Alex, Ben, Keisha, Rhiannon, Scott, Libby, Alex, Ebony, all of you friends, you guys have just been the best about this. Tioti actually made me change my dissertation topic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. To this, to talk about this.
That's nice.
Because he said it was interesting. Te Horere as well, James, Emma Pearson as well. Everyone that's come on the episodes, I don't know. There's just too many people that have been super supportive of this, and it makes me want to grow it. It makes me want to make it better. And the people that I have around me, like you guys, are actively trying to make it so. So yeah, I just wanted to say that a massive appreciation for everyone. It's been Carla. Do you want to plug anything? You want to plug your band?
Recitals is the band, and we're Recitals. We are Recitals. Watch the space for some stuff, and that's all I want to plug. Love Recitals, shout outs, and shout outs Marbeck's Records.
Yeah, shout out.
Support local music.
Have to. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you so much.
Of course, thank you for coming on. This is great. I had so much fun.
Because I was like, I would normally feel nervous about anything like this, but I think it's easy to just forget about it because we're just like mates having a yarn. And also just like catching up because we haven't seen each other for ages, so it's really nice.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to your podcast.
Cheers for coming on.
One last drop. Fuck yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been Carla Camilleri. Again, so appreciative of you doing this.
Oh, thank
really
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Righto, team. Enjoy listening to this. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.